So I think the aviation industry is fully aware of its responsibilities to ensure the citizens' protection for natural risk, environmental safety. And within that particular environment, I think in the past the aviation industry has mainly reached safety improvements by looking into past incidents and accident reports. And now I think there is the mainstream of further improving the system is to learn more from data, from working all together, not having a piecemeal approach to risk management. And I think obviously safety has an impact upon the reputation of organizations being involved. So that's to me the contribution of Prospero towards these business aspects of aviation as a whole. Very much so far, the aviation industry has worked in a sort of fragmented way towards safety and risk management. So I think Prospero is certain aspect pioneering activities in terms of bringing the different actors together, sharing data, learning all together, working at boundary issues in particular, impacting different actors, which in the past was sort of unobserved by looking only at the piecemeal approach to things. So I think by bringing all these actors together, Prospero is pioneering a wee bit and is making giant leaps into improvement of safety management across the overall aviation system, and not only looking at an airline perspective or an ATM perspective or a manufacturer perspective in particular. So that's to me one of the big thing I'm expecting to see out of Prospero. And from what I've heard this morning, it seems that everything is going into those directions. I think the big thing from what I heard this morning is that since it's based a lot on, or it seems to be based quite extensively on the sort of accident investigation in terms of data collection. And I think the aviation industry, both airlines, ATM, NSPs in particular, are considered to be one of the highest reliability organizations overall, which means that there are less and less data related to what is going wrong into the system. I think aviation is quite reliable, so you don't have a lot of the data in relative terms in terms of what is going wrong across the system. So I think the next step in reaching further level of safety would be to look at the way the system is performing right, and to ensure that in particular with brand new changes that the aviation industry is facing with concepts like Cesar and Next Gen in particular, that the system is let's say, behaving as well as it did in the past. So we have to really learn from what is going right into the system and ensure that it will still go right with the new ways of doing the business in the future. So that's one of the things I think that Prospero will have to look at is what we call the success part of safety, and not only looking at the dark side of a coin. Well, so within the new, relatively new safety performance regime, the member states are responsible ultimately for setting, achieving and monitoring the safety performance target at local level. And local can be different things, can be the national level, it can be a functional airspace block, a charging zone, and so on and so forth. And within that framework of a performance-driven regime, so Eurocontrol, as you know, is playing two very important roles. One of the performance review board, for which I'm sure Peter Griffith will say far more than I'm going to do, and also the network manager role. Both of them are related towards supporting the European Commission in setting performance targets, monitoring, doing benchmarking, and also supporting the EC, the European Commission, in setting the performance targets for the reference period, and also monitoring the achievement for the current reference period. So those are the two roles where Eurocontrol has a clear connections towards a performance-based, safety-driven regime. In addition to that, I think Dave has said a few words already on the role we are playing in terms of trying to coordinate research in Europe, in particular with this Flight Path 2050 vision that we have. And for sure we want to assess as Eurocontrol, together with our partners, the contribution of research, and Prospero in particular, towards achieving the sort of key challenges that have been set by this vision of the advisory board in terms of safety for the next 35 years to come. So that's one very important connection towards obviously Prospero, to see the contribution of Prospero towards those objectives. And finally, a more indirect connection to an extent, but I think we are doing very similar modeling, safety risk modeling activities within the CESAR work program. And I think there's a lot of cross-fertilization aspects in seeing what is being done in Prospero and what we do in CESAR with all our partners in doing the overall performance-driven approach to designing the brand new concept operations for ATM in that case, not aviation as a whole, but so that's also a clear connection to Prospero and CESAR. Yeah.